I have seen so many different videos about redesigning the Hazbin Hotel characters or drawing the Hazbin Hotel characters in different styles, and it's one of my favorite things to just put on while I'm doing homework. So I decided, yeah, I could do that. I have an iPad. I have Procreate. Why not? And let me just say, I love the characters, I love the show, and I love how they look, but I'm gonna have some creative differences, which is fine. I'm gonna do the main 8, and if editing this video doesn't throw me over the edge, maybe I'll do another one. So I started with Charlie. She is the life of the party of the show. She's the main character. So I decided to start with her first. I gave her a very dynamic pose. That's what I wanted to do with like all the characters, trying to show who they are through most aspects of the image itself. So I kind of like gave her very cheery, upbeat personality through like her stance. Also another thing, I changed her appearance quite a bit in this, making her look far more goat-like, because apparently she's supposed to be some sort of goat, which is fine. And with that, I gave her some goat-like ears, a tail, and hooves. And as I was going through drawing this, I gave her a very hotel-y outfit. I took direct inspiration from the Grand Budapest Hotel, the suit they have Gustav in, but instead of like a fully monochromatic, I decided to take it a different way and do red and black and gray and kind of do a sandwich of color. And then on top of that, I gave her a more golden hairstyle, and on top of that, I gave her a braid instead of whatever her hairstyle is now. I think it's like a ponytail with another ponytail. I just didn't really get it. So that's what I did. Compared to her other design here, obviously lots of creative differences. One of the things I just really don't like about the characters is like half of them are just paper white. So I was like, let's mix it up a little bit. Next, I did Vaggi. Unfortunately for Vaggi, she just kind of bores me. I hate to say it, but understand, in the show you need like that leader, that person to keep you in check, but usually with that they literally nix any amount of personality a person has when they are in charge, or yeah, I don't know, when they're in charge. But for Vaggi, I decided to make her kind of match Charlie, giving her the hotel aesthetic, with like a full button up and then a skirt with some puffier sleeves. And then I kept her new little like hairstyle of the ponytail with her like fringe. And then of course I gave her her little like spear staff thing, but I made it gold instead of white, just so there was like some difference in her character, as well as when I think of anything from heaven, I'd think gold instead of silver, but whatever. Compared to her other character, fortunately it's pretty similar, just kind of like dulled a little bit, which I kind of feel bad about, so maybe I'll go back in the future and kind of like fix her up. Next, I did Sir Pentious. In this design, I decided to kind of go full out. I've drawn these characters before just on my own. They were kind of, not great because I made them a few years ago. But I was looking back and his character was like the only one that I was like, holy macaroni, I really like that one. And that aspect that I really liked was that I gave him robot arms, because he's a snake. Snakes don't have arms, and also he's an inventor, why not? And I also gave him that steampunk look on top of it. I also gave him a little thingy on his tail. I don't really know what it is. Maybe it's a bomb. Maybe it's, I don't know, rattlesnake shaker. And then I, to like even out his like palette, in the show it's like all black and yellow, I decided to give him a brown to like kind of neutralize it, but I definitely go in later and kind of fix that up. But compared to his other design, fortunately it's a little dulled down, just because I wanted to move the attention to the arms instead of the rest of him, so you can like focus. But I'd probably go in and like fix his outfit up a little bit more. Next is Cherri Bomb. This is my first time drawing Cherri Bomb ever. It wasn't until the start of season 2 did I really like actually get a hold of her character, because before she was just kind of background character, but now she's in the main cast and I decided to take a crack at it. I gave her a much more like summer look because I think it would make sense with her character. Also, love the Australian vibe don't know what an Australian vibe is, but giving her the white t-shirt with the cut-off shorts, and then my favorite part of her design is the 2 different shoes, but instead of the cowboy boot and the slip-on shoe, or sometimes it's the sock, I decided to give her a flip-flop for the jokes, because in Australia they call them thongs. On top of that, I also made her hair a bit different. Instead of the half up, half down, just gave her a ponytail, and I really wanted it to look kind of like fire, or like a spark, and I really wanted her color to kind of be more orange and yellow compared to the pink in her other design. So that's what I did. I also gave her little tattoos. I gave her her freckles. In her original design, she has just paper white skin, and I wanted to make her pink. However, I use a pink background just so I'm not blinded when I'm drawing. So she turned out just a bit more Caucasian than I was planning, but oh well. Next is Angel Dust. Angel Dust gave me a little bit of a challenge here, just because I didn't really know what to do with him, because, his design's pretty good. But what I decided to do is give him more of a dynamic pose, like I decided with all the other ones. And then I gave him all of his arms, just because I think it's fun. But with all the arms, I was like, what am I going to do to accessorize them? So I gave him some arm warmers and then some jewelry. And then I also gave him mandibles to make him look more like a spider. And then I just gave him his little stick straight appearance. And then in the new season, they gave him a crop top and these high-waisted shorts. But I decided I wanted to do the crop top with some bell-bottom pants to give it more shape to him, to make it more dynamic. I'll go back through, unfortunately, with these pants design, just because it wasn't scratching the itch when I was drawing, so you'll notice that. I go in and I redo his hair a few times, just because I couldn't figure out. His head has such a dynamic shape that I was just kind of struggling, and I was like, that's something but I ended up fixing it. It was fine. But when I was coloring, I really enjoyed referencing back to his original designs that I see from even before the pilot. He's usually drawn with purple and grays and a little bit of pink. So I wanted to put in some that dark purple. Definitely would have made the purple a little bit more bright, maybe all the colors a little bit more bright. But overall, it turned out pretty good. Next is Husk. Husk is my favorite character so far, just because Keith David is just a beautiful man, beautiful specimen. He has a great voice, and with that voice, I wanted to, the character just doesn't really match the voice, just because Keith David has such a deep voice. So I decided to make Husk look like what Keith David sounds like to me. On top of that, I also gave him a shirt just because I wanted to, and I put him in a dynamic pose of leaning up against the bar, and I gave him his wings. With those wings, though, I didn't draw them to really have feathers, so I was kind of struggling, but I ended up doing a half and half for them, and then making the inside kind of they've done this a few times in the sister show Hell of a Boss, where the inside of a cape or something like that is just a pattern that'll move, so it looks like a galaxy on the inside. Top of that, just gave him some more coloring here, gave him his suits for the cards, and then I also gave him a bow tie that's just kind of hanging around his neck. And a fun little detail I put on there was I have Alastor's signature just kind of on it for the showmanship of Husk being owned by him, like how Angel has the golden tooth from Val. Overall, looks great. Next, I did Alastor. Alastor, I think, is one of the biggest changes I did from his canon design, and I was like, I'm just gonna go with what's in my heart when I think of Alastor. And so I made him far more deer-like, giving him ears, antlers, and then eventually you'll see the eyes. And then, compared to all the other characters that are going out with their poses, I decided to put him in a more closed-off pose, just because of how secretive he is. And then I referenced a lot from 1930s fashion and that time, just because since he's radio and refuses to go into the future with technology, I'd think that he'd stay back and look exactly how he did back in the day, or at least have those styles. So I gave him some waves, some glasses, and then I referenced the suit to be much more boxy. And then for his staff, little fun fact, I referenced a very old microphone from the 1930s 20s, maybe 30s, and that's what I use to put on his little staff thing. Giving him like a pattern on his face to look like a deer with like the white around the eyes and the mouth, and then I made his eyes super dark where you can barely even see the whites of his eyes, just to make him scarier. Because if he's gonna be the strongest demon in hell, I expect him to look such a way. Finally, Nifty. I have come to love Nifty a lot more in this newer season, just because she gets a lot more time on screen, and you get to see more of her personality. One of the things I did with her design, I just kind of went by the beat of my own drum here. To give her 4 legs instead of 2, really cement the bugness of her, and I ended up giving her some antennae too. And then I made her green. I don't know, I just felt it in my heart, thought maybe she'd look cute green, and since I made her green, I ended up making her outfit a very traditional black and white maid's outfit with the little red splashes. And just like Husk, she has Alastor's signature on her knife. Overall, I love drawing all these characters. I think I got pretty close to how I see them in my head. They were each very fun to draw, and I was gonna like use this end of the video to kind of like give a debrief on the show, or the second season at the very least, on like things that I noticed or not, but I think I'll save that for if I feel like making another video. I don't really care if you subscribe, give me a dislike, and share a questionable comment. Thanks, and have a good night.